I, 27F, am in a really difficult situation with my best friend Nora, 26F, and I honestly don't know what to do. We've been best friends since college, and she's getting married to her fiancé David, 28M, in exactly 1 month. I'm her maid of honor, and I've been helping her with wedding planning for the past year. Nora and David seem like they have a great relationship. They've been together for 3 years, got engaged last year, and from the outside, everything looks perfect. David is a really good guy. He's kind, funny, and clearly adores Nora. I've always thought they were a great match, but yesterday, I discovered something that has completely shaken me, and I'm not sure how to process it or what I should do about it. I was at a coffee shop downtown, and I saw this guy at the table next to me who looked familiar. I couldn't place where I knew him from, so I discreetly opened Bumble to see if maybe I had seen his profile before. I know this sounds silly, but it was bugging me. While I was scrolling through Bumble, I came across a profile that made my stomach drop. It was definitely Nora. The photos were recent. I recognized the outfit from a girls' night we had just 2 weeks ago. Her profile said she was looking for something fun and seeing what's out there. Most shocking of all, her relationship status was listed as single. I stared at my phone for probably 5 minutes, thinking maybe I was seeing things or that it was somehow a fake profile using her photos. But it was definitely her. The photos, the writing style in her bio, even some inside jokes that only she would make. The profile showed that she had been active within the last 24 hours. I immediately felt sick to my stomach. Nora is getting married in 4 weeks. We just had her bachelorette party last weekend. I've been helping her address wedding invitations and coordinate with vendors. How could she be actively using a dating app right now? I spent the rest of the day going back and forth about whether I should confront Nora about this, or if there was somehow an innocent explanation. Maybe she forgot to delete her old profile? But then why would she have updated photos from 2 weeks ago? And why would it show recent activity? Maybe she was just curious about what was out there, but wasn't actually meeting anyone? But that still seems like a huge red flag when you're about to get married. Maybe she and David had some kind of arrangement I didn't know about? But Nora has never mentioned anything about an open relationship, and David doesn't seem like the type who would be okay with that. I decided I needed to talk to Nora directly, so I called her last night and tried to bring it up casually. I asked her how she was feeling about the wedding and if she was having any last-minute doubts or cold feet. I was hoping she might open up about whatever was going on. Nora said she was excited about the wedding and couldn't wait to marry David. She talked about how much she loved him and how ready she was to start their life together. She seemed completely sincere, which made me even more confused about the Bumble profile. I tried to probe a little more by asking if she had been thinking about her single days or missing aspects of dating, but Nora just laughed and said she was so happy to be done with all that. After we hung up, I felt even more confused and conflicted. Either Nora is lying to me about her feelings, or there's something else going on that I don't understand. I'm torn between wanting to confront her directly about the Bumble profile and being afraid that I'm misunderstanding the situation somehow. Part of me thinks I should tell David what I saw, because he has a right to know if his fiancé is actively on dating apps. But another part of me feels like that would be betraying my friendship with Nora. I'm also worried that if I bring this up with Nora, she'll just deny it or make up some excuse, and then I'll be in an even more difficult position. But I can't just pretend I didn't see what I saw. The wedding is in 1 month, and all of our friends and family are going to be there. David's family is flying in from across the country. If Nora is having serious doubts about getting married, shouldn't someone say something before it's too late? I keep thinking about how devastated David would be if he found out about this after the wedding. But I also keep thinking about how devastated he would be if he found out about it before the wedding. I'm also questioning whether I really know Nora as well as I thought I did. We've been best friends for years, and I never would have expected her to do something like this. It's making me wonder what else I might not know about her. I haven't been able to sleep or focus on anything else since I saw that profile. I keep checking to see if she's been active, and the profile shows activity every day. I'm supposed to have a final dress fitting with Nora this weekend, and I don't know how I'm going to act normal around her when I know what I know. Should I confront Nora directly about the Bumble profile? Should I tell David what I saw? Should I try to get more information before I do anything? I'm also wondering if there's any chance this could be innocent, and I'm overreacting. But I can't think of any good reason why someone would have an active dating profile with recent photos 1 month before their wedding. I feel like I'm in an impossible situation where any choice I make could destroy relationships and hurt people I care about. What would you do in this situation? Update 3 days later. Thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. The feedback helped me realize that I needed to get more information before making any big decisions, and that I owed it to both Nora and David to find out what was really going on. I decided to talk to Nora directly about the Bumble profile, but I wanted to approach it in a way that gave her a chance to explain without immediately putting her on the defensive. Yesterday, I asked Nora if she wanted to grab coffee before our dress-fitting appointment. I figured a public place would be better for this conversation than her apartment. When we sat down, I told Nora that I had seen something that confused me and that I wanted to give her a chance to explain before I jumped to any conclusions. I showed her the Bumble profile on my phone and asked her if she could help me understand what was going on. Nora's reaction was immediate panic. Her face went completely white, and she started fumbling for words. She tried to say it wasn't her, then that it was an old profile, then finally just stopped talking altogether and stared at the table. After about a minute of silence, she finally looked up at me with tears in her eyes and said, "I'm so freaking scared." I wasn't prepared for how raw and vulnerable she sounded. I had expected denials or excuses, but not this. Nora told me that she had been having what she called freak-out moments about the wedding for the past month. She said that she loved David, but that the idea of never being with anyone else for the rest of her life was making her feel trapped. She said that she had reactivated her Bumble profile about 3 weeks ago during one of these panic episodes. She said she had been chatting with guys and even went on 2 coffee dates, but that nothing physical had happened. Nora said that talking to other men made her feel like she still had control over her life, and that it was the only thing that helped calm her down when she started panicking about the wedding. I asked Nora if she had told David about any of these feelings, and she said that she hadn't because she was afraid he would call off the wedding. She said that she thought the panic would go away once they actually got married, and that she just needed to get through the next month. I told Nora that what she was describing sounded like she might not be ready to get married, but she immediately got defensive. She said that she wanted to marry David, and that she was just having normal pre-wedding jitters. She said that all brides have doubts, and that this wasn't any different. I pointed out that going on dates with other men wasn't normal pre-wedding behavior, and Nora got upset and said that I didn't understand what she was going through. She said that she had been engaged for over a year, and that the pressure from everyone expecting her to be perfectly happy all the time was overwhelming. Nora begged me not to tell David about the Bumble profile. She said that she would delete it immediately, and that she just needed to get through the wedding. I watched Nora delete her profile right there in the coffee shop, but I told her that I wasn't sure that was enough. I said that I thought she needed to figure out whether she actually wanted to marry David, rather than just trying to push through her doubts. Nora said that she did want to marry him, but that she was just scared about what marriage meant. She said that she thought all engaged people felt this way. I told Nora that I had never heard of engaged people going on dates with other people to manage their anxiety, and that maybe she should talk to someone about what she was feeling. The conversation ended with both of us frustrated. Nora was upset that I wasn't just supporting her decision to push through her doubts, and I was concerned that she was making a huge mistake. Since our coffee shop meeting, I've been going back and forth about whether I should tell David what I learned. On one hand, Nora deleted her profile and said she wouldn't continue meeting other men. Maybe this really was just pre-wedding panic that she can handle on her own. On the other hand, I keep thinking about those 2 coffee dates she mentioned. Even if nothing physical happened, she was essentially dating other men while engaged to David. I also can't shake the feeling that Nora's explanation doesn't really make sense. If she's this panicked about marrying David, maybe that's telling her something important about whether she should be marrying him at all. I'm supposed to see David at a wedding planning meeting tomorrow, and I don't know how I'm going to act normal around him when I know what I know. Update 2 to 1 week later. The situation with Nora has completely blown up, and I've learned things that make her Bumble activity look like just the tip of the iceberg. After my coffee shop conversation with Nora, I decided to give her a few days to think about whether she wanted to tell David about what had been going on. I was hoping that once she had some time to process our conversation, she would realize that she needed to be honest with David about her doubts and her behavior. But when I texted Nora a few days later to check in, her response made it clear that she had no intention of telling David anything. She texted me back saying that she had handled the situation and that she didn't want to discuss it further. She said that she was focused on the wedding and didn't want any drama right now. This response really bothered me because it suggested that Nora viewed what had happened as just drama rather than a serious issue that needed to be addressed. I was still debating whether to tell David myself when he inadvertently made the decision easier for me. Yesterday, I ran into David at the gym, and he looked terrible. He seemed exhausted and stressed, which was completely unlike him. When I asked David how he was doing, he said that he was worried about Nora and wasn't sure what to do about it. David said that Nora had been acting weird for the past few weeks, staying out late without explaining where she was going, being secretive about her phone, and seeming distracted and irritable. He said that when he tried to talk to Nora about her behavior, she would either brush him off or get defensive and accuse him of being controlling. David said that he was starting to wonder if Nora was having second thoughts about the wedding, but that every time he brought it up, she would insist that everything was fine. The way David described Nora's recent behavior made me realize that her Bumble activity was probably just part of a larger pattern of deceptive behavior. It also made me feel terrible that David was clearly worried and confused about what was happening with his fiancée, when I had information that could help explain her behavior. After thinking about it for the rest of the day, I decided that I couldn't keep this information from David any longer. I called David last night and asked if he could meet me for coffee this morning. I told him that I had some information about Nora that might help explain why she had been acting differently lately. When we met this morning, I told David about finding Nora's Bumble profile and about our subsequent conversation. I explained that Nora had told me she had been chatting with men online and had gone on 2 coffee dates, but that she claimed nothing physical had happened. David's reaction was nothing like what I had expected. Instead of being shocked or angry, David just nodded and said, "That actually makes a lot of sense." He said that Nora's secretive behavior suddenly made sense if she had been meeting other men behind his back. But then David told me something that completely blindsided me. He said that he had actually been having serious doubts about marrying Nora for the past few months, but that he had been afraid to bring it up because so much had already been planned and paid for. David said that he and Nora had been arguing more frequently, and that he had been feeling like they weren't compatible in some fundamental ways. He said that he had been wondering if they were just going through with the wedding because it was expected, rather than because they were both excited about getting married. David said that finding out about Nora's behavior on Bumble felt like confirmation that they both had serious doubts about their relationship. This conversation was nothing like what I had imagined. I had expected David to be devastated or furious, but instead he seemed almost relieved to have an explanation for what had been happening. David said that he was planning to talk to Nora that evening about what I had told him, and that he wanted to have an honest conversation about whether they should go through with the wedding. I asked David if he was angry with me for telling him, and he said that he was grateful that I had been honest with him. He said that he would rather know the truth and deal with it than continue feeling confused and suspicious about Nora's behavior. But David also said something that made me realize the situation might be even more complicated than I had thought. He said that he had been wondering if Nora was seeing someone else because her behavior had been so different lately. When I asked David what he meant, he said that Nora had been much more interested in her appearance recently, had been working out more, and had been buying new clothes. He said that she had also been much less interested in spending time with him, and that when they were together, she seemed distracted and distant. David said that he had been hoping there was an innocent explanation for these changes, but that finding out about the Bumble profile made him think his suspicions might have been correct. I left our coffee meeting feeling like I had opened a can of worms that was much bigger than I had anticipated. Final update, 2 weeks later. I need to provide a final update on this situation because everything has completely fallen apart and the outcome has been nothing like what anyone expected. After David and I had our conversation, he went home and confronted Nora about what I had told him. According to David, the conversation was a complete disaster. David said that when he told Nora that I had shown him her Bumble profile, she immediately accused me of betraying her trust and trying to sabotage their relationship. Nora denied that she had gone on any dates and claimed that she had only been using the app to boost her confidence during a stressful time. When David pressed her for details about her recent behavior and whereabouts, Nora became defensive and accused him of not trusting her. David said that the conversation quickly escalated into a huge fight, with both of them saying things they couldn't take back. Nora apparently told David that she felt suffocated by his expectations and that maybe they weren't right for each other after all. David said that he told Nora that he had been having doubts about their relationship too, and that maybe they should postpone the wedding to figure things out. According to David, Nora completely lost it at this point. She said that she wasn't going to be humiliated by calling off their wedding a month before it was supposed to happen. She said that if David wanted to break up with her, he could be the one to explain it to everyone and deal with all the cancellations and lost deposits. David said that Nora packed a bag and left to stay at her sister's house, and that they hadn't spoken since. This all happened 3 days ago, and the situation has only gotten messier since then. Nora has been telling people that David broke up with her because he's controlling and doesn't trust her. She's been painting herself as the victim and me as the friend who betrayed her. Several of our mutual friends have contacted me asking what really happened, because Nora's version of events doesn't match what they know about David's character. I've been trying to stay out of the drama and just telling people that David and Nora are having relationship issues that they need to work out themselves. But yesterday, I found out something that made me realize that the situation was even worse than I had thought. One of our friends, Jessica, called me and said that she had been feeling guilty about keeping a secret and that she thought I should know what she had seen. Jessica told me that she had seen Nora at a restaurant 2 weeks ago with a man she didn't recognize. She said that they were clearly on a date, holding hands, kissing, the whole thing. Jessica said that she had been debating whether to tell me or David about what she had seen, but that she hadn't known how to bring it up. When I told Jessica about the Bumble situation and everything that had happened since, she said that what she had witnessed suddenly made a lot more sense. This information completely changed my understanding of what Nora had been doing. She hadn't just been chatting with men online or going on innocent coffee dates. She had been having what appeared to be a full-blown emotional and physical affair. I decided that David needed to know what Jessica had seen, so I called him and told him about the restaurant incident. David wasn't surprised. He said that after their fight, he had started thinking more about Nora's recent behavior and that he was now convinced she had been seeing someone else for a while. David said that he was actually relieved that their relationship was over because he had been feeling unhappy for months, but hadn't known how to address it. He said that finding out about Nora's deception had been painful, but that it had also freed him from a relationship that wasn't working. David has officially called off the wedding. He's been dealing with vendors and trying to minimize the financial losses, which has been stressful but manageable. Most of their friends and family have been supportive once they heard that there were serious relationship issues. David's family was disappointed, but said they were proud of him for not going through with a marriage he wasn't sure about. The hardest part has been dealing with Nora's reaction to everything. She's been furious with me and has been telling people that I ruined her relationship by being jealous and vindictive. Nora has blocked me on social media and has told several of our mutual friends that she doesn't want to be around me anymore. Some of our friends have taken Nora's side and think that I should have minded my own business. Others think that I did the right thing by telling David what I knew. Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about my role in all of this. Part of me is glad that David found out the truth before he married someone who was cheating on him. But another part of me feels terrible about the way everything exploded and about losing my friendship with Nora. I keep wondering if there was a different way I could have handled the situation that might have led to a better outcome for everyone. But at the end of the day, I think David deserved to know that his fiancée was on dating apps and meeting other men behind his back. And based on what Jessica saw at the restaurant, it sounds like Nora's behavior was much worse than what she had admitted to me anyway. David seems to be doing okay, all things considered. He's been staying busy with work and spending time with friends and family. He told me yesterday that he's grateful that he found out about Nora's deception before they got married, rather than after. He said that he's sad about how things ended, but that he feels like he dodged a bullet by not marrying someone who is capable of being so deceptive. As for Nora, I haven't heard from her directly since everything blew up. According to mutual friends, she's been dating the guy that Jessica saw her with at the restaurant. Apparently, they had been seeing each other for about 6 weeks before the wedding was supposed to happen. Looking back, I think Nora's panic about the wedding wasn't really about commitment anxiety. It was about the fact that she had developed feelings for someone else, but didn't know how to handle the situation. Instead of being honest with David about what was happening, she tried to have both relationships and just hoped she could figure things out after the wedding. I feel bad for everyone involved in this situation, but I still think that telling David was the right thing to do. Marriage is supposed to be based on honesty and trust, and Nora was violating both of those things in a pretty serious way. I hope that David finds someone who will be honest with him and who genuinely wants to be with him. And I hope that Nora learns something from this experience about the importance of communication and honesty in relationships, although based on how she's been handling the aftermath, I'm not sure that's likely. As for me, I'm trying to focus on the friends who have been supportive throughout this whole mess, and I'm reminding myself that sometimes doing the right thing means losing relationships with people who don't share your values. It's been a really difficult few weeks, but I think everyone is better off knowing the truth, even if the truth was painful to deal with.